So with daily living with autism, I will say this: day to day, it's very chaotic, and there's a lot of stress involved. There are a lot of people out there that tend to act out, or lash out, or all these different things too, where they just can't take it anymore. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Tyler McNamer, and I will give you 1 minute to tell you a little bit about myself. So I wrote a book called Population One. I wrote it when I was 16. It published. It sold over 50,000 copies worldwide, and I'm a keynote speaker on the topic of autism. And I'm also the CEO of Autismworks, where our goal is to make autism work, and that's all there is to it. We are simply here to make things more workable for those who have autism and for those who care for those who have autism. So, as my introduction, let's get started. One of the questions that I received that is very common is what do people with autism do on a daily basis on the lines of sensory overload, social interactions, or communication difficulties. So people tend to ask me, what are some things that they do? What are some of the things that happen on a daily basis? So I will tell you through experience, and I will say that I am no different than any one of you that are tuning watching. When I was very little, I had a very rough time when it comes to flexibility. As a matter of fact, I'm the first to probably mention that I was one of the biggest source losers when it comes to playing games, because back in the day, I thought the object of the game is to win. However, that's not the case because there happens to be a part in autism that involves routine, and when the routine is being broken, or when expectations don't meet to their requirements, things tend to get a bit chaotic, as you can say. A really good example I always kind of mention too, that back in kindergarten, I used to hang up my backpack on a certain hook, and when that hook is being taken away by someone else, then I tend to be extremely lost. I don't know what to do. It's like, sure, so the easy solution would be just use another hook. It's just like any other hook out there, but for me it was very rough. So what do we do? Well, the teachers and parents and paraeducators all alike, they taught me all about the importance of flexibility, and to the point where there are moments where things change, things that tend to not go the way that you want them to go, but not they do. So that's why we always have to practice every day. This is true for my end, is that we practice every single day on breaking the boundaries, breaking the routine, and to the point where flexibility becomes routine. There comes to even a point where breaking routines becomes routine, if that kind of makes any sense. So in other words, every day becomes an adventure, and comes to a point that when there is no adventure going on, especially my age, since I'm currently 28 years old, when there's no adventure going on, then I feel like there's something that is off, kind of thing. It's like you become tired of the same old routine concept. And that you want to try something new, and this takes time. This takes years, sometimes even decades, to achieve for that area, and that's why I have to say about the whole routine concept too, especially when it comes to also communication concept too. Like people would communicate saying something is not right, something is not good. A lot of people with autism, they tend to have a little trickier time when it comes to communication. That's why we kind of practice on that with nonverbal communication as well. For me, my way of doing nonverbal communication happens to be writing, and that's why back in high school I wrote a book as basically my way of trying to communicate with others. My way of communicating with other people happens to be writing a book, and this was just my way of saying, hey, this is for you. Hopefully you understand me better, and maybe we can go out for a nice cup of coffee one of these days. That was my expectation, and turns out the expectation wasn't as I thought it would be. And I kind of had some rough times with that concept too, where it's like I was trying to make friends, so I wrote this book and all that kind of thing too. But we can go for the sad stories at another time. But now is not a good time for sad stories. This is a time for assistance and what we can do on these areas. So communication. It's okay to do nonverbal communications on that concept too. For me, it's writing. Other people can do drawings and illustrations, or even write music. that could be a really good alternative to that concept too. I know there are people out there that would play music, certain music, depending on how they're feeling. Whether they're feeling happy or sad or angry or afraid or anything like that too. That's what they kind of do with music, and also even with films too. Like I remember when I was very little, I would play specific scenes of an animated movie, and that moment right there showcases how I kind of felt at that moment, kind of thing. There happens to be other people out there that actually do something very similar when it comes to their favorite animated films, and that was just their way of communication in that sort of way too. And also even with the boards. I don't have the board with me right now, but there was a boards, and it's a very common thing too. A lot of people with autism is that they would put magnets based on how they feel. Feeling happy, go right over here. Feeling shy, put it right over here, or anything like that too. That's one way to showcase how they feel in those little areas. The talking parts can come. One day, maybe it can take years or even decades, and for me, I started talking at a very early age and all that kind of stuff too. After being diagnosed, and it probably took years later to kind of learn how to speak. And here I am, being a keynote speaker in the topic of autism. So if I can do it, so can you. If you want to be a keynote speaking engagement, it's all to you. It's whether you want to do keynote events or maybe even be a rock star singer or a comedian and all that kind of stuff too. It takes time. It takes time to master the arts of speaking and all that kind of thing too. And I know it will happen one of these days. And it's because I always say every individual with autism equally have a story to tell. It's up to us in Autismworks to push in that potential. We want to find that potential so that it can be released into the world. That's what we want. We want to showcase the best of autism. And I know that there are people out there that just want some guidance. On here too. And that brings us to one more topic. This is all about relationships and all about trying to have social interactions with other people. Recently, what I've learned is that there are people with autism that feel like that they want to impress others, however way possible, and sometimes there are some areas where they want to impress others that sometimes the conscience is more of an afterthought. Like sometimes they don't know what is right or wrong for those kind of areas. That's why I've really learned just recently. And what I take from these areas is that's how desperate that people with autism would be, because they want to feel liked, or they want to feel loved, and they want to feel this companionship going on concept too. And I'm here to say that I totally understand. I hear you for these kind of things too. That you do want to have companionship, and you would almost do whatever it takes to get that companionship too. For me, I had to do it in a much different kind of way, too. For me, I thought if I could write a book, I would find my companionships. I would find my community, my tribe, and instead of getting that tribe in the high school, it turns out I found my tribe in a much different kind of way. Like I was in part of the business world, full of publishers and coaches and teachers and professors, and they all come up to me asking for guidance in the world of autism, and I am very much happy to accept. It feels good, even though the companionship isn't what I expected, I chose to accept it on my own terms. And then eventually too, there will always be a time where I need to have companionships on my peers. Like for example, when I'm not working, I like to listen to heavy rock music or play computer games or video games or especially little known fact is I'm a very competitive pinball player too. So there's always a time for that concept too, and that's just casual time. For work time, I'm just here to give some guidance on that kind of thing too. So there's a balance. There's a balance for that concept too. There's a balance for social areas, and there's a balance for work areas. Think of it this way: is one of my favorite superhero comic book characters happens to be Clark Kent, not Superman. Clark. And the reason why is because Clark he happens to be feeling really happy being as Clark, just someone who wants to be a newspaper reporter. He enjoys the small, quiet life of Kansas, and it's sometimes you can probably imagine that superhero work as Kal-El or Superman that can be quite demanding. So it's just take a break and be the quiet life. Too. Well, same with that. When it comes to social situations, there's a time for work, and there's a time for play, and there's a time to be super, and there's a time to be the newspaper boy, kind of thing, the reporter, and all that kind of stuff too. So the point is that there are times where it's okay to have this balance. You're not defined by one simple thing. People will love you just the way that you are. Don't feel like you have to change. Just there are some areas where you have to adjust based on social situations. Remember this, everyone. There are no limitations, only adjustments. Just keep that in mind, all right? No limitations, only adjustments. Like for example, if there's anyone out there that probably don't like wild, crazy parties because they're too noisy, too chaotic, and like even the confetti is too much too. Take it from me, because confetti was definitely something I was not used to. I kind of had a hard time with back in the day. Today I'm totally fine with the confetti, but back then that was just a big no concept too. So when I say no limitations, only adjustments, here's one way to adjust when it comes to a party. You can have a party of one if you like, or a party of three. Happens to be your mom, or your dad, and you can celebrate however you like. You can have cake and balloons if you want to. You can have it as quiet as you want, and it still counts as a party because you celebrate your achievements your way. And that's what we do for Autismworks. Is whenever there's a breakthrough, any kind of breakthrough, whether it be your first words or your first new life experience, like getting a driver's license or setting up a bank account. We make it a priority to celebrate these achievements. It can be as big as you want to. It can be as small as you want to. The point is, as long as you have a good time celebrating these things too, because every small achievement is equally astonishingly big. We believe that there are no levels to achievements. Like for example, writing 2 best-selling novels is just as important as finding your new best friend. It's true. It's true, and they are equally celebrated. Like when I first did Population 1, we didn't do a book release signing party. The reason is because back then I didn't know how to handle parties as well. I was just a 16-year-old. I almost said drifter, but 16-year-old high school student that just is still trying to figure things out. Still playing video games and listening to rock and roll music. And I was still in the first stages of knowing what it's like to be a published author concept too. So we didn't really had a book release signing party. And even to this day, I still don't have a book release signing party. Not because I couldn't handle it, but but mostly because we haven't planned it out yet. Not custom. But yeah, it's the point is that it's true. We all celebrate in our own kind of ways, kind of thing too. And for these social situations, it's okay. It's if things are a bit too much, don't hesitate to excuse yourself out from the situation to the best of your abilities. The way I see it is that the world can be quite chaotic. It's true. I'm one of the first to admit. And the way I see it is be sure to celebrate after those chaotic moments. Real quick too is that I remember meeting with a mother who has a son with autism, and one of the biggest breakthroughs is going through the supermarket without any major meltdowns. And I immediately said that is worth a celebration. That is worth partying too, whether it can be big or small. Whether it be long or short, it's still worth the celebration. For all these kind of things too. These breakthroughs are not afterthoughts. Whether they be small or big, they're still equally important. And we just gotta take the time to celebrate. To celebrate us, celebrate our own individuality, kind of thing too. Celebrate our individuality with humbleness, I guess you can say. I always kind of say that with Autismworks, it's like we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate the joys of and the benefits of having autism, but we also want to be humble about it too. Like we don't want to say it's like want to say I have this, what you have, and all that kind of stuff too. That's not who we are. We want to be humble about it too for these kind of areas too. So it feels good. It feels good for that kind of stuff too. And all in all, we just want to basically share our world with other people. This Autismworks is all about sharing, and for this, we want you to share some of your strategies right in the comments down below. It may work for you, it may work for someone else. I like to give strategies that worked for me, and maybe there might be a chance that maybe it works for you. If not, well, let's talk about it, because I know that there are hundreds of strategies that works for other people. We could most likely have a whole dictionary over it too, with all these different strategies as well. It makes it pretty nice. It makes everything so colorful and vibrant of all these strategies. And if it works for me, it can work for you as well. Or it works for someone else. And that's what we like to do. We like to celebrate with humbleness. So with daily living with autism, I will say this: is that day to day, it's very chaotic, and there's a lot of stress involved. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that tend to act out, lash out, or all these different things too, where they just can't take it anymore, and they just had to run. That's why I did too back in the day too. It's like I was a runner. I was running so many times and ran so fast that I literally joined the track team. It's true. I used to join the track team back then too, and that was just my way of dealing with that kind of stuff too. And with all this stimulus and all the stress going on too, and all that kind of thing, don't take it personally. They're really trying their best, and I will probably say too that there are people out there that probably would say the exact same thing. I'm just trying my best. I really want to, and there are people out there that would feel so ashamed that they just want to hide from the rest of the world. And I'm here to say that don't hide. You may not notice yet, but people need you. People want to get into your head, and they want to know what goes on in your world. And so let them. Just let them be a part of your world too. It may take some time. It may take a few years, but I know that there's potential up there. We just need to help unleash it to the world. and for daily living with autism, it's an adventure. It really is. Like with every single passing day, it's always a new discovery for one and all too. And discovery can be scary sometimes, but sometimes it's all about how we see these discoveries too. Whether you choose it's a good thing or otherwise, it's all about the attitudes. And if you feel scared, do not hesitate to reach out. The best way that you can. The two first words I said back in school were written in paper, and that happens to be "help me," and it was true. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I need help, and that's what I could do. Being along for the ride, I let my teachers and my parapros and my family members all to help me, and because it's not a solo adventure. This is a team effort, and it's your job to let them help you, to let them be a part of the team. Sometimes it can be scary, but all in all, it's still worth it. It's all worth it in the long run. When you grow up to be an adult, please make it a priority to thank all the help that you received, whether it be teachers, professors, and even your peers. Because my peers have helped me so many times to the point where they taught me how to have fun, how to be a kid, and how to work together as a team. What is your story? Feel free to share down in the comments. Feel free to share this with other people. I know that there are stories out there. We just want to hear them. We want to listen to these stories and to make strategies of these stories to make autism much more workable for you and for one and all. My name is Tyler McNamer. Thank you all very much.